I would say maybe kind of reiterating the two types of clients. If you are a very healthy Fortune company, or even doesn't have to be just a company that has an extensive IT department, I'm guessing you already know what you need to do. You just don't have the manpower to do it. So we can help with getting resources either from a technical architecture standpoint or just straight like developer manpower. If you're a mid-sized company that maybe doesn't have a healthy IT department, I think you're probably stuck in a spot where you definitely have money to invest. You're just not sure what you don't know. And you need someone to help guide you with product market strategy and a strategy where you feel like you're not going to waste dollars. And the best way to come find us is
Welcome to Outsource to Profits. I have a special guest here, Scott Howard. I want you to be able to introduce the world to Think Tank AI, and then we'll frame up the story.
yeah, thank you.
So,
Yep.
Scott,
Thank you, Jamie, for having me. I honestly really appreciate it. I'm honored. So, Think Tank AI, in one sentence, successfully helps companies leverage AI. I mean, that's as simple as I could put it. Um, it's a startup and it's based on my background in software, enterprise level software development. I was director of sales for a company called Apptera for 11 years. Helped them sell. I was employee number 20. Helped them to organically hire employees to get to employee number 125, and then we sold. Now in my new model, what I learned from that old model is that took a lot of work and a lot of time. So instead, and I think maybe this is why I'm here today, I went with a different approach. I have an outsourced network now. Instead of building it organically one by one, I have now permission to sell on 500 plus developers. And these are all from, they're just outsourced either onshore, but majority is actually offshore from Estonia to New Zealand to India. And so that's what I'm here to kind of elaborate on and kind of tout the benefits of doing so.
well, and that's the concept, the thread that we want to pull on. So, in technology, it's called Moore's Law. So, everything gets half the price and twice as fast every 6 to 12 months or something like this. As an entrepreneur, my very first company, it wasn't Sales for Life, it wasn't even social selling. I actually left employment, and myself and I was the third employee of a software company. He was the fourth employee. We came together and we formed a company called JPS Strategies. It was just sales consulting for hire. And in the first year, it's amazing how little progress we made because we had no idea what we were doing. The next company was called Triathletes, and it was a managed service. So instead of hanging a shingle uh, for all kinds of different projects for hire, it was more of a managed service with recurring revenue. And it got bigger than the first company within months. And then the next one was Sales for Life. And Sales for Life, again, and each subsequent business I've ever been part of got to revenue markers, and forget just revenue as your goalpost. Just every other thing took half as long as I listened to the mistakes that I made. So with that, Scott, what did you learn from Apptera? What was the impetus or the reason that you were doing something at Apptera for 10, 11 years and that you went down the route of, and you can explore both, the AI route? What did you learn maybe on doing things manually that was so time consuming? And then on the offshoring standpoint, that made you think this is way better, way faster, way cheaper?
Yeah, let me try to answer that best because I could go a number of different roads. So back to kind of what I learned. And so no matter what we're talking about in technology, and obviously you're from the software space also, like AI is just the new tool that's going to be used within software, within technology in general, but all the same principles apply. So for me now, like just not to go down a little bit of a specific, my senior technical architects are going to be people who are senior software developers on multiple projects, and we're technical architects on more than five projects, and two of them being in the AI space, data, machine learning. So a lot of these same principles are going to apply to AI. Now, to what we're talking about today, as far as what I learned, when it comes to implementing enterprise level technology, our philosophy at Apptera was to put a heavy emphasis on the technical expertise. In other words, the technical talent, our software developers. So, and that was a shared philosophy, I think, in the hundreds of thousands. There's 100,000 custom software development companies, and they all believe the exact same thing. If I build the best technical talent, I'm going to gain a competitive edge, and therefore my company is going to be more successful than everybody else. And that is quite literally what everybody was thinking. So as you know, if everyone's thinking that, there is no competitive advantage. And we know
Yeah,
that
it is
because
a red.
yeah, and
Yeah.
before we sold, we were evaluating 3 or 4 companies to buy, and they all said the exact same thing. Like, oh, we can develop better than anybody. We got the best practices, best culture, best everything, right? What did they all have missing? The sales, the clientele. They all, every 100,000, all the thousands of software development companies can swear by their development. None of them can swear by their marketing and sales strategy. So instead, my strategy with my new company is high emphasis on building the client and portfolio. And luckily, I already have 10 years of relationships, but really building that communication framework. And I don't want to go into the minutia of delivery, but just more saying, I'm going to make more of an investment on the relationship side with investing in full-time employees around BAs, meaning the people who understand how to draw the business success to the software product or the AI product. And then also the investing in 1 or 2 high-level technical architects, right? And then making sure that I am always on what I call the same side of the table as my client so that we can manage this project effectively together. And now I'm not putting as much of an emphasis of saying I got to go get the best talent. I'm just signing companies to my network who have already done that groundbreaking work for me. They've got 15 years of building that culture and talent. So I'm just outsourcing to them to do that. And to, I think, the point of your podcast, I'm seeing no difference in quality and communication between a company in New York or a company in Estonia. There's no real difference between that or New Zealand. I mean, as long as you're fine with using a Teams communication network or a Zoom call, really a lot of the same TLC, tender loving care, to the delivery can still be done. It's just the communication structure has to be there.
So you looked at what Apptera did and you said to yourself, okay, if tech, I'm just going to summarize, if tech can't do it as a competitive moat, then I'm going to have a go to market strategy that does. And I'm going to be the envy of my market because I can win net new business better than everybody else, and or I can upsell and cross sell. So my net retention revenue is in a better position than my competitors. Maybe you have a better recurring revenue model. Do you mind sharing for the audience whatever you feel comfortable from a trade secret standpoint? What are some of your go to market strategies that you're finding in the early days of your business that just others in your space hadn't either considered, weren't willing to do? Where are you investing those go to market dollars that can create that moat for you?
Well, I'll be honest. I built with my network. I'll give you my big picture philosophy when it comes to AI. So AI, whether you're a small company or the largest company in the world, you need to invest in artificial intelligence in some capacity. So Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100, I'm not telling them something they don't already know. Their deficit's going to be in actual resources to get their plans done the way they want. Then there's this subset of companies that are mid. I would call in the area I'm in, Fort Wayne, Indiana. You got mid-level cities that have some pretty healthy companies at that 200 employee and above level, even a little bit lower, but and above. Very healthy profit margins that are really sitting at a space where they really don't know what they don't know. And if they take the same stance that a lot of them took during the internet boom, which is they waited, they still survived. What my point to them is, you can't wait on this one. You will not survive. So it's at least, as far as a go to market strategy message, This is a multi-million dollar play, either from an opportunity cost or an actual profit or an actual revenue play. It is worth, so my company will give you a discovery. We can go as in depth as you want, or as stay as high level as you want, but we're talking 15K, and that's to me is affordable to find out if you should even jump into this space. Up to 100K, which is like not only these are to people who know they got to jump into space, but they need to know specifically where they should enhance their features, where they should enhance their process, where they should spend their time. Should it be a chatbot? Should it be actually scoping out anomalies in security? So a lot of them are like, I know I got to invest in it. I just don't know where to prioritize. So the go-to-market strategy is
Yeah.
everybody knows they got to make an investment, but they have to make an investment on where's my play. And that's the message right now. And honestly, just I've been asked to be a part of many panels locally, and just simply on that alone, I guess, not, I always knock on wood. You and I are in sales, so I don't want to jinx that what I'm saying, but it really has not been tough to get meetings. Let's put it like that. People definitely want to see what we have, and the fact that I have access to 500 plus of resources, and this is your best resources to the resources that are there to just deliver grunt work. I mean, I have it all in a space, especially in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where they're not easy to come by. And I was able to do that in like a month.
Well,
So
yeah, let's double click into that. So you use resources all around the
mhm.
globe. Um, I'm sure people want to know first your mindset. Like I was a founder that just could not move off the idea for years and years. You had to work in Toronto. You had to come to my live office in Toronto, Canada, and I had to go through a mindset shift. Then I had to go through a skill set shift, which was like, how do I a skill and a tool set shift? Where do I find the talent? How do I onboard them? How do I make them as proficient as if they were sitting in my office in Toronto? Maybe walk the audience through a bit of that journey. How you overcame the mindset, and then where do you find the talent? How do you manage them?
Yeah, so I would say, just like everything, not all offshore clients are created equal, or offshore vendors, I should say, partners. So the ones that I personally use, I know the owners of the companies personally. So one, I met with the person from Estonia. We've met in person multiple times. I've looked at the projects he's done. He's looked at the projects I've done. So we gain an intimate knowledge before we even decide to partner up. I got lucky on my offshore to New Zealand and India because the one of the presidents happens to live in Indiana, so we got to know each other really well. And I think that was where I gained comfort to try it, because I was same as you, like, how do I control the process? How do I control ultimately the quality of delivery? But then I've had some good experiences with this India company. Well, again, the president's here in Indiana, but the company, he's got his partner running the team in India. So back to the communication structure, layering on top of the delivery. That's what happened. Like, I had a strong communication structure with the president, who has given me strong communication paths to the project managers and the technical architect. And then when it comes to delivering the backlog to the actual developers, honestly, I'm trying my best not to, like, I don't want to insult software developers, but there really hasn't been much of a difference because most software developers are introverted to begin with. And so as long as the communication is happening at a very seamless level on the top end, and in that team, you need someone who's got technical talent. But as long as that communication to the delivers, whether they're Indian or whether they're out of, Florida, as long as they can understand what's being asked of them, which we've been able to easily do, I mean, the delivery's been the same. It really has.
Yeah,
So my thing is, now instead of
that's
Apptera,
fantastic.
there's many price models we can offer. Therefore, more money to be invested on the planning side to actually see what ROI you're going to get.
Yeah, you've now created an ability to have more price elasticity because your margins are in a better shape now. Yeah.
Yep, exactly, spot on.
This is fantastic. Scott, how do people get a hold of you? What does an ideal customer look like for you? Just if anybody's listening, uh, they have AI on the top of their mind. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would say maybe kind of reiterating the two types of clients. If you are a very healthy Fortune company, or even doesn't have to be, just a company that has an extensive IT department, I'm guessing you already know what you need to do. You just don't have the manpower to do it. So we can help with getting resources either from a technical architecture standpoint or just straight like developer manpower. If you're a mid-sized company that maybe doesn't have a healthy IT department, I think you're probably stuck in a spot where you definitely have money to invest. You're just not sure what you don't know. And you need someone to help guide you with product market strategy and a strategy where you feel like you're not going to waste dollars. And the best way to come find us is at my website at thinktankailabs.com, or you can get a hold of me through email, Scott Howard at thinktankailabs.com, or my phone number is 260-479-7715. I don't mind putting that out to the public because I'm an
That's a
entrepreneur.
sales guy.
Yeah,
That
I'm a
is
sales guy. I'll take the calls.
fantastic. Scott, thank you so much for
All right,
being on
man.
the show.
Appreciate you, Jamie. Take it easy.